In a small Nigerian village, a young man named Tunde was sent for his National Youth Service Corps (NYSC) primary assignment. He was a bright, ambitious man from the city, eager to contribute to the development of rural areas. During his stay, he met a beautiful village girl named Ada, who was kind, hardworking, and full of dreams. They quickly fell in love, their bond growing stronger each day. Tunde promised Ada that he would return to her once his service was over. However, after Tunde completed his NYSC and left the village, he disappeared without a trace. Ada tried to contact him but received no reply. Her life took a sharp turn when, 3 months later, she discovered she was pregnant. With no support from Tunde and the village gossip turning cruel, Ada had no choice but to work on other people's farms to make ends meet. She kept her head down and tried to make the best of her situation, but the weight of her circumstances grew heavier with each passing day. Then one fateful day, Ada's best friend brought news that Tunde was not just an ordinary man. He was, in fact, a prince from a powerful family in the city. This revelation gave Ada a glimmer of hope. She decided to travel to the city in search of the man who had promised her the world. When Ada arrived at Tunde's family palace, she was stunned to learn that Tunde had completely denied knowing her. The prince rejected her and her child, claiming he was too far removed from such a life. Heartbroken, Ada returned to the village, determined to raise her son alone, without any help from Tunde. Years passed, and Ada's son, who she named Chuka, grew into a brilliant young man. He excelled in school and earned a scholarship to study medicine abroad. Chuka's hard work and intelligence eventually led him to become a successful doctor. He returned to Nigeria as a renowned surgeon, treating many influential individuals. One day, Chuka was called upon to treat a wealthy businessman who was critically ill. Chuka worked tirelessly to save his life, and, in the process, developed a strong connection with the man. As time went on, they became close, and Chuka admired the businessman's wisdom and generosity. In an unexpected twist, as Chuka was concluding his treatment of the businessman, he learned that the man he had grown so fond of was none other than his biological father, the prince who had rejected Ada all those years ago. Shocked by the revelation, Chuka was left with a mixture of emotions: anger at his father's past rejection of his mother. After the revelation that the wealthy businessman was indeed Chuka's biological father, the situation took a surprising turn. The prince, deeply regretful for the way he had treated Ada and abandoned his own son, was struck by guilt. He had never married, and despite all his wealth and status, he realized he had no true legacy to pass on. He had lived a life of pride and arrogance, but now, after years of separation, he saw the true value of love, family, and responsibility. Chuka, while initially hurt by the prince's past actions, saw the sincerity in his father's eyes. He knew that people could change, and though the pain of the past could never be erased, there was an opportunity for healing. The prince asked for Chuka's forgiveness and, most importantly, Ada's. He explained that he had been young, foolish, and afraid of the consequences of his actions back then. His heart was now full of regret, and he wished to make amends. Chuka, understanding the complexity of the situation, agreed to forgive his father. But it was Ada who had the hardest decision to make. Years of hardship, raising her son alone, and the bitterness of rejection had left a scar on her heart. But she saw that the prince was truly remorseful and that he had changed. Over time, she began to soften and saw the possibility of rebuilding a family for herself and Chuka. The prince, determined to make things right, not only sought forgiveness from Ada but also asked for her hand in marriage. He promised to care for her, cherish her, and, above all, be the father Chuka deserved. Ada, moved by his sincerity and her own feelings of healing, agreed to marry him. The wedding was a joyous occasion, and the small village, which had once witnessed the pain of Ada's past, now celebrated a new beginning. Ada, the prince, and Chuka were finally united, and their story became a beacon of hope, showing that love could heal even the deepest wounds. The prince and Ada lived happily